Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of the new Foals LP, Holy Fire. Foals is a UK rock quintet whose third full-length album, right here, Holy Fire, I have been maybe a little hesitant to review because of just my strong dislike for their last full-length album, Total Life Forever. In my opinion, Foals used to be one of these young, brash, up-and-coming bands in indie rock that were just bursting with energy. With all these dance punk beats and math rock grooves and eccentric vocals, they were just a fireball of energy. Especially with tracks like Cassius and Balloons, which both had some awesome horn parts in them too. I personally saw an incredible amount of potential in what the band was doing in their early stuff, but maybe they didn't actually end up seeing it that way. A lot like another English rock group, Block Party, it seemed like on their sophomore full-length, Foals was trying to do away with their original sound as quickly as possible. However, unlike Block Party, I don't really think on their sophomore full-length LP, Foals tried to maintain their youthful energy. It seemed to me that they were kind of in a rush to mature. The beats were at times danceable, but just not as hard, not as punk influence for sure. And it wasn't a total letdown. I mean, Foals did supply some pretty good singles with tracks like This Orient as well as Miami, but just that really colorful, vibrant, and sort of rawness that the band had to their early stuff was just kind of sucked away and replaced with very glistening string-kissed choruses with the occasional Radiohead-style ambitious climax. Now, unfortunately, this new LP is not really that bold change in direction I was kind of crossing my fingers for. It's not the return of that vibrant energy. However, again, Foals does not leave me totally to hang out to dry. They never really do. There's always at least a handful of tracks that are great, and maybe on this new album I actually think they have struck a somewhat better balance between their softer, more mature side and that visceral energy that they're able to conjure as a rock band. Because there are some really good and lively tracks on here, and some interesting moments where Foals are trying to make some pretty strange chemical reactions between different musical flavors. Like the track Inhaler, which has these guitar chords that just bounce with echo rhythmically. There's this pulsating drum beat that kind of reminds me of a band like Maserati. There's all these soaring falsetto vocals on the verses, and then when the chorus bursts in with this heavy-ass guitar riff, it sounds like something Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine could have written. And I think the execution of kind of this new vibe that this riff brings goes over really smoothly. The song My Number is another favorite of mine on here. This song really pops with a lot of catchy group vocals. There's more bouncy guitars, more dance beats. It doesn't really go as hard on the chorus like Inhaler does, but it's a really just sweet, danceable pop rock single. And to me, this song is really where the band does very well for themselves in trying to find a balance between making a dance tune, making a tune that you can move to, making a tune that's visceral, but also sounding maybe a little lighter, a little more flowery, a little sweeter. It's dancey, but it's not superfluous. And it has some really nice little baby, tiny, funky, shiny guitar leads too. Those actually appear on quite a few tracks here. The song Providence is another favorite of mine on here too. The end of this track is so heavy and noisy and thick and climactic. I didn't know Foals was still capable of creating a sound that was that noisy and that intense anymore. And everything that comes before that point is fantastic as well. Just these hard ass drum beats, these jutting distorted riffs. It's so aggressive and yet so dancey. There's some interesting interludes here with some atmospheric ethereal keyboards as well as vocals that feel like they have some like echoey dub effects on them. For me, this track was like a near jaw-dropping moment. But then there are other tracks on here, kind of like the song Bad Habit, where it'll start off with a really cool beat, but it doesn't really get much more interesting past that. The song progresses into this ultra smooth, glistening dance pop rock tune that actually feels like maybe it would actually be a Coldplay song if not for all of the polyrhythms going on in the background. And again, like on the album Total Life Forever, Foals just continue to abuse reverb to the point where it just sucks the meat, it sucks the energy out of their instrumentation, and when they explode on a chorus, it just has no bite whatsoever. Kind of like many of the choruses on that last Maccabees LP. I kind of feel the same way about the song Late Night 2, which is a cool track, has some Radiohead-esque vocal melodies, it's got a really dark vibe to it, kind of nocturnal, but again, those dance beats really kind of keep Foals from reaching as high emotionally as the song could potentially go. These tracks that I've sort of mentioned negatively so far aren't even really the worst moments to me. They don't so much ruin the album. To me, these tracks are just okay. They're tolerable. There are just more unbearable moments than this, in my opinion. Like the song Milk and Black Spiders, which on this track, the mixing is terrible. I don't even know how it ended up on this LP. Mix-wise, it sounds way different than any other song on the album. The reverb just swallows up every single instrument on here, and all I can hear are just the bad strings tossed all over the track. It sounds like a really lackluster live recording of somebody kind of holding a microphone way back, like thousands of people are between them and the stage, and they're kind of holding their iPhone in the air, just taking a recording of the band performing. And the prelude on this thing, the intro track, the boring chord progression and the guitar leads and the heavy distorted riff that comes in after it just sounds like one big post-rock nightmare. When I listened to Total Life Forever, I didn't like it. I still don't like it. But now I kind of feel like I know what the band is going for. Foals' intentions on Holy Fire are a little bit clearer. And, you know, it would seem that they want to make dance music, they want to make dance rock and dance pop, but they want it to have this kind of delicate, subtle, kind of flowery aura about it. The concept is great, but I feel like the band is yet to find a way to combine these two elements without watering each of them down with the other. The dance beats don't feel as hard, they don't move me, they don't feel as exciting, and on the other end, these flowery moments that they go for feel kind of bogged down, feel boring, they don't feel emotionally powerful because they're kind of locked into these dance grooves instead of flowing beautifully like something subtle should. I feel like that's kind of made apparent, especially on the last two tracks, where the band seems to ditch the dance beats a little bit or mix them down so low that they don't even really play a huge part in the song. And as a result, you get a track like Moon, which is this really just soft, spacious, textured ballad that kind of sounds like it is really like Sigur Rós potential when it comes to the way that all of these sounds kind of wander through this very atmospheric mix with these lonely, lonesome vocals calling out into the echo-drenched night. It's actually beautiful and a really good finisher to this album that was really kind of spotty for me all the way through. Though I have not enjoyed the past two Foals albums, the band has shown me again that they are still willing to experiment, to tinker, to adjust, and just offer fans something new the next time around, even if it is only, you know, slightly new in vision. But to me, this album was new enough and more likable than Total Life Forever, to be completely honest. I'm feeling a decent 5 on this record, and yeah, that's about it. What did you think of it if you've given it a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Why? And what do you think I should review next? Anthony Fantano, Foals, Forever.